Allow me to introduce myself. My name is May, and I am the Senior Marketing Specialist of DISS. So on behalf of DISS, I would like to say thank you for taking the time to join us today, and welcome to our webinar on the overview of the NEBOSH International Diploma for Occupational Health and Safety Management Professionals. Again, before we start with the webinar training, I would like to give some guidelines and instructions to make this event more memorable for us. So number one, for everyone to enjoy and fully focus on our webinar and our speaker, we would like to request for your microphone to be on mute while our speaker is presenting to avoid external sounds in the background, which may interfere with our speaker's presentation. Number two, if you have any questions or clarifications during the presentation, please note it down, or you can send a message in the chat room and we will answer it during our allotted question and answer portion towards the end of the webinar. Number three, if you're having any technical problems or any issues, you can also send a message in the chat room. And as you may notice, I think we're having some glitch on the naming. So if I could just ask you to rename the names showing on your screen to your correct names. All right. So we'll be able to address you properly later on the question and answer portion. And lastly, it is not necessary to open your camera if you're not comfortable with it. But we do encourage you to do so, as we will be posting in our social media snapshots of this event and of course the attendees. All clear? No questions? All right, cool. So without further ado, let me introduce our speaker for today's webinar, Mr. Gopalakrishnan, or Mr. GK for short. Let me just give you a brief background about Mr. GK. Mr. GK is our very own lead tutor and senior consultant and an approved instructor in NEBOSH International Diploma in Health and Safety. He is also a motivator and a mentor who guided hundreds of aspirants to achieve internationally approved health and safety qualification and professional membership. So, as I mentioned, without further ado, let's all welcome Mr. GK. You have the floor, Mr. GK.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, Ms. May, for introducing, and thank you very much. So let us get into the business first, because we have limited time. So please let us go to the agenda points. So we will be discussing about the NEBOSH International Diploma for Occupational Health and Safety Management Professionals. We will be discussing about what is the change from the last specification to the new specification. Similarly, how the examination will be held. So that is a major change that you can find in new international diploma for occupational health and safety management professionals. So before we jump into the topic, let me introduce our organization, that is DISS. You might be aware about DISS, especially if you are from Qatar. If you are away from Qatar or maybe outside of Qatar, you may not be knowing that very good manner. So let me give you an introduction. So DISS is one of the leading training providers in health and safety field as well as in consultancy. Okay, so we can proudly say that we have contributed to popularize NEBOSH qualification within this Qatar, because we are here more than 15 years now in the market, Qatar market. Okay, so we have various international accreditations. So you can see here at the bottom line of my slide, there are various accreditation bodies and their logos are presented here. So it's not only the NEBOSH. Now recently we got NEBOSH Global Learning Partner status. Gold Learning Partner status. So you must understand that Gold Learning Partner status, it is awarded because of certain qualities that we maintain and certain conditions or procedures that are actually beyond the expectations of NEBOSH. So it may be the training procedure, maybe the facilities that we are providing, it may be the student support, maybe the quality of training delivery. So there are various criteria for awarding this Gold Learning Partner. So NEBOSH has awarded it to us, and now we are about to launch our NEBOSH International Diploma for Occupational Health and Safety Management Professionals. And moreover, we are a ISO 9001 certified organization for several years now. So for more information, please visit our website. Okay. So why we need to know the learning partner and their status? We know that there are so many market players, there are so many training institutes, they are providing NEBOSH qualifications. So it is always better to know them, whether they are approved by NEBOSH or are they doing this business in association with somebody else who may not be having offices in Qatar. You have to check that one. So you can always check it by going to NEBOSH website. It is all available there. So you can always find a learning partner, check whether the learning partner is authorized or not. So this is what I just wanted to tell everybody, because many players are there, they will just admit the people, they will give some kind of training and they will vanish from the market. So it is your hard-earned money, so you should invest it wisely. So this is what the first piece of information I would like to give you. So you can see our mission is we are committed to provide high quality of services, whether it is in training, whether it is the consultancy services, whether it is our own certification, local certifications, or its international certification. We provide high quality of services. So that is what our main peculiarity, and we have the credibility for that. Our mission is to create a new learning experience in the region that promotes health, safety, and quality to protect valuable lives, minimize ill health and injuries, and boost performance. So new learning experience. New learning experience means, so due to the pandemic, many players, they have been closed for several months, but we immediately started our virtual sessions, and we have a learning management system, and majority of the training, especially the virtual trainings, that we are providing through the learning management system now. So it provides a unique experience to the people. I would like to request the participants, please refrain from making these annotations in the slide. I believe everybody is grown up and are matured. Please refrain from doing this. Thank you. Now let us go to the International Diploma for Occupational Health and Safety Management Professionals. So now you know that the Occupational Health and Safety Management, or the International Diploma in Occupational Health and Safety Management, that was first launched in 1998 by NEBOSH. So from that period onwards, it evolved a series of upgradation depending on the market requirement and the changing situations or legislations in the country and the innovations in the health and safety field. So it was launched in 1998, and so far we were having the November 2015 specifications. The last specification was November 2015 specification, and now the latest specification, there is a change. There are so many changes actually from these two specifications. The last one is the July 2020 specification. This is what is being launched now. It was launched last year, but now DASS will be launching it here in Qatari market in February. So now people may be wondering what could be the differences between these two specifications and what is the importance of knowing these specifications. Let us just have a quick look on what are the major differences. There are so many differences, but we'll be just going through a few major differences. So anybody who might have inquired about 2015 specification, or they might have gone through or did some research on 2015 specification, they know that it comprised of 4 units. The complete syllabus was divided into 4 units. That was unit IA, IB, IC, and DNI. Now, these syllabus covered during the class, and the first 3 units, A, B, C, all these 3 units were assessed by a closed book examination. That means the candidates or participants, they might have visited the examination hall, physically presented themselves, and they wrote an examination in an examination conditions. And DNI was the project work. Of course, it was done at the participants or the candidates workplace, and it was submitted to NEBOSH for marking. Total tuition hours that was dedicated for this specification was 226 hours. Now let us see what about 220 specification. Now the total units, from 4 units it is reduced to 3 units. These are ID1, ID2, and ID3. So instead of 4 units, yes.
I'm sorry, May here. Maybe you can share and reshare your screen so that the lines will actually disappear. Yeah, your presentation, since there's a line there, maybe you can stop sharing and then reshare again so that the lines will disappear.
Okay, fine.
All right. I'm so sorry, everyone. Okay. All right,
okay?
There we go.
Fine,
yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
So in 2020 specification, that is the latest one, the number of units have been reduced to 3. Instead of 4, now it is only 3. That is ID1, ID2, and ID3. One major change here is it is not being assessed by a closed book examination. It's not assessed by a conventional examination. Now your assessment is totally different. You need not to go to any examination hall and appear for the examination. You can do it from your workplace or in anywhere in the world where you have the resources such as internet and access to your workplace. There is no problem at all. So it is comprised of various activities and open book assessments. So we will discuss it a little while after. And you can see that the tuition hours, it is also been reduced to 195 hours instead of 226. So you may be wondering why it is done, why it is reduced. So it is approximately 14% reduction. The timing or the tuition hours are reduced by 14%. Why? Because the topics that were part of IGC or NGC, that is a general certificate. I believe most of you might have gone through the IGC or NGC. So the syllabus that were covered in IGC or NGC that were also appearing in 2015 specification. Now for the new specification, these topics that were covered in IGC, it is assumed to be a prior learning. It is assumed to be a prior learning now. So NEBOSH or the syllabus for 2020 specification expects or assumes that the candidates have sufficient knowledge in the topics that were covered in IGC or NGC. So it is not included in the new syllabus. So that means it's a prerequisite that you should have a proper understanding of IGC syllabus. Okay. And also I mentioned that this open book examination, it is done in a remote manner. It's not done in an examination hall. It's done remotely. We will discuss that one. Now, who are all the people target audience for this kind of qualification? You know that IGC, it is a certificate level qualification. So NEBOSH has various levels of qualification, from the award level, then comes to the certificate level, then comes to the diploma level. The certificate level qualification, most of the certificate level qualification except the PSM, that is in the level 3. But diploma, international diploma and national diploma, both, it is in level 6. So that means it is much higher level when compared to the certification level. So now this qualification is aimed at the managers. Anybody who is managing something, maybe a senior manager, maybe a director, or maybe an occupational health and safety professional who is having adequate practice in the field, and anyone who is aspiring to be an occupational health and safety professional. So for these people, definitely this qualification will be providing very, very good in-depth knowledge in occupational health and safety management, as well as the workplace hazards and its control measures. It's not only for the managers and occupational professionals, occupational health and safety professionals, it can be done by anybody who require in-depth knowledge in the subject. However, as I mentioned earlier, they should possess the prior knowledge of IGC syllabus or IGC subjects, the subjects that we have covered in IGC, because it's an advanced level qualification. So if you don't have any background in health and safety or do not have adequate knowledge in the basics, then definitely it will be difficult for the people to go through diploma syllabus. Now, what will be the benefit to the employer? Many organizations are sponsoring their employees for diploma courses, for NEBOSH courses. Why do they sponsor the people? What is the benefit to them? Definitely, when you have a diploma holder in your company, it will be an added advantage because you are building in-house health and safety expertise. There is no need for hiring from outside. So you are always building in-house expertise. It's not only, the person may not be working in health and safety field now, but you can convert them. You can utilize their expertise within your organization. Similarly, the employers will be able to develop a safe workplace, a good safety culture, a safe workplace, and improve good health and safety culture within the organization. And by all these, they will be able to demonstrate their commitment. Now, what could be the benefits to the learner? I believe most of the people, those who are attending this, will be aspirant for NEBOSH diploma course. What will be the benefits to the people, those who undergo this qualification? Now you can see, you will be able to gain and develop knowledge and skill in occupational health and safety. Because at the end of the course, you are going to understand the role of health and safety legislation, the purpose and principles of enforcement actions, and the role of United Nations, International Labour Organization, and other non-governmental bodies. It is all covered in the syllabus. You will be able to use different type of health and safety leadership approach and be able to influence health and safety issues at all the levels. You can assess yourself. Even if you are a manager, you are influencing, you can assess what kind of leadership you have. Influence organization and health and safety workplace culture. So you will be able to influence health and safety culture in a positive manner. You will be able to proactively manage health and safety, taking into account the human failures and factors. You will also be able to manage health and safety competence, both your personal competence as well as your organization's health and safety competence. definitely you will be able to use a range of hazard identification technique and risk management techniques within your organization. You will be capable of monitoring health and safety performance, develop the role as a health and safety professional, including understanding how it links with corporate social responsibility. What is the link between the health and safety performance and the social responsibility, corporate social responsibility? You will be capable of managing the organizational change in an effective manner. Similarly, the contractors and supply chain, you should manage it. So you will be capable of managing them in a good manner, and you can always control a range of workplace health and well-being issues and workplace safety issues. So these points will be covered in the syllabus. So it will be worth for the learner to gain more knowledge and develop their skills in health and safety. And of course, we know that NEBOSH qualifications are one of the most sought after qualifications in occupational health and safety field as of now. And having a level 6 qualification like international diploma, so it will be actually a respected qualification. You will gain respect and recognition from your colleagues or maybe from the employees. Okay, you will be able to gain membership in professional bodies. So this qualification that may be sufficient for fulfilling the qualification requirement to get membership in various professional bodies such as IOSH, IARSM, etc. Okay, and of course, it will be an advantage for the NEBOSH diploma holders to go to the CSP examination. Okay, there will be an added advantage for you. And moreover, you can progress further. If you want to progress further and excel in your qualification and your occupation, definitely you can proceed or you can progress towards postgraduate studies in occupational health and safety. University of Hull, they have an arrangement with NEBOSH and they are offering 6 postgraduate programs in occupational health and safety, 3 MSc programs and 3 Master in Research program in occupational health and safety. So they have the arrangement with the NEBOSH. Apart from University of Hull, there are various other universities located in Western countries. So they are offering MSc courses in health and safety, and this qualification that will be sufficient for gaining admission. So that is the main advantage. If you want to excel in your career, if you want to progress your qualifications, definitely it will be an advantage. And finally, we are all looking for our employability. You can sell yourself at a higher rate, so you will be one of the most sought after person in the market. So your employability will be increasing considerably. Now let us move on to the entry requirements. As such, there are no pre-qualification required for entering into this particular or getting admission into this qualification. However, as I mentioned earlier, NEBOSH and the syllabus assumes that prior knowledge of health and safety equivalent to international general certificate or national general certificate level. That is a must, because this qualification will not be discussing the basic part, it will be discussing the advanced area only. So you should have the thorough knowledge of the basics. And you should have relevant experience in occupational health and safety, because it will be asking you to develop so many things, or maybe analyzing your culture, maybe how do you communicate the health and safety things in your company. So it requires certain knowledge and experience within your field. And the language of or the medium of tuition and the examination, that is in English. So the participants are expected to have at least a good command over English in writing and speaking. So it should be equivalent to IELTS 7. But there is no certificate requirement, but you should have good command over the English. So now let us move on to the syllabus. The syllabus is divided into 3 units. We have already discussed it earlier when we discussed about the change. So ID1, ID2 and ID3. So ID1 is always talking about knowing workplace health and safety principles. So what are the principles that we will follow? The health and safety principles or various managerial aspects will be discussed here. And here, this particular unit is divided into 8 learning objectives. Now, ID2, it is actually related with the workplace health issues. Controlling what are the various type of health issues that may be prevalent in your company, in your workplace, and what will be the effect and how can you control it. Similarly, ID3 is dealing with the workplace safety issues. So these are the 3 units that are present in the IDip syllabus. The tuition time, let it be any course provider, whether it is a bronze partner, silver partner, or a gold partner, an approved course provider, learning partner, have to conduct at least 185 hours of tuition. 185 hours of tuition must be provided to the candidates, and NEBOSH require you to have 144 hours of private study. It's not only the tuition. Tuition will guide you. Tuition will help you, but your personal studies, it is very, very important to pass the examination. Now, we'll just have a detailed look into the various units that we are having. ID1, we already mentioned that it is knowing workplace health and safety principles. I already mentioned that it is divided into 8 learning outcomes. So here, first learning outcome will be discussing about the type of legislation likely to apply to your organization and how enforcement action could apply. The relevance of ILO conventions and recommendations and other non-governmental organization. So these are the points will be discussed in the first learning objective. Then second learning objective or second learning outcome, how to promote a positive health and safety culture, how to gain commitment and participation and engage, support, influencing the leader. So these are some of the common points will be discussed in the learning outcome 2. The third learning outcome will be about assessing, developing and maintaining individual and organizational health and safety competence. The fourth learning outcome will be discussing about the risk management, including various techniques for identifying the hazards, a type of risk assessment. So what kind of considerations you may have to take when implementing sensible and proportionate additional measures. Then fifth one will be discussing about developing and implementing proactive and reactive health and safety monitoring practices. Sixth learning outcome will be discussing about how to continually develop your own professional skills and ethics to actively influence improvements in health and safety. Okay, you need to give persuasive arguments to workers at all levels, including senior people as well as the junior people. Next one will be discussing about developing health and safety policy strategy within your organization. So that will cover the proactive safety, corporate social responsibility, etc., change management. So these will be covered in this particular learning outcome. Then the last learning outcome in this particular unit. So you will be able to manage contractors and supply chains to ensure compliance with health and safety standards. So these are the topics covered in the first unit. And we will have 71 hours of tuition and 58 hours of private study. Now, majority of the people may be wondering how this assessment will be done. So this assessment will be held twice in a year. So for ID1, the assessment will be done in the month of March and September, only twice in a year. Now, what are the different type of assessment that you may have to go through? So the assessment for the unit ID1 is divided to 4 parts. You must understand this carefully. It is divided into 4 parts. The first part, it is actually a scenario based question. So a scenario will be provided to you, and based on the scenario, the task and the questions are set, and based on the scenario, you have to provide practical approach and you have to provide the answer based on the scenario and your knowledge. So here it is not only the knowledge, your understanding and your capability to apply your knowledge in a given scenario that is being tested. Now, second part is actually workplace activity. So this activity will vary depending on the questions. Same way, scenario will be varying and the task also will be varying for each examination. The part 2, the workplace activities. So you need to carry out certain activities within your organization. So it may be assessment of your culture, it may be assessment of your competence, training, information. So what kind of things that are provided by the NEBOSH or presented to you by the NEBOSH during the examination, that activities are to be completed. The third portion of the third part of the assessment, it is a reflective statement. So here you are required to provide a reflective statement regarding yourself. Okay, what kind of leadership you have? It may be, it will vary, the topic will be varying, what kind of leadership you have. An example only. Okay, so maybe developing an action plan for certain issues. So various things that you have already practiced or you intend to practice or intend to develop within your organization, you have to provide a reflective statement. Then finally, the last one, it is a research topic that will be given by NEBOSH. So you have to carry out a research on the particular topic and produce a report and submit to NEBOSH. So this is what we are expected to do. So total assessment, the first part, as of now, the first part is having 150 mark, second part 150 mark, third part it is 100 mark, and the fourth part again 150. So total 450 plus 100, 550 mark, that is what as of now. It may vary sometimes because earlier when it was launched last year, it was 600 mark, now it is reduced to 550 marks. So as we mentioned earlier, you are not going to write the examination in the examination hall. So you will be getting the question paper on the examination open day. Then you will have 6 weeks of time for completing your task and submitting it to NEBOSH. Okay, it will be done online. So once you complete this one, then there will be a mandatory professional discussion with the learning partner representatives. So you need to score 50% mark for passing this assessment. So for second paper, that is unit ID 2, this do controlling workplace health issues. Here you have only one learning objective. Again, the 60-hour tuition and 45 hours private study that are required. Then assessment will be done in May and November. So same way, you have the time for 4 weeks. Now for ID1 it was 6 weeks. Now for ID2 it is only 4 weeks. A mandatory professional discussion is required. 50% mark is very important. For ID3, again, it is having only one learning outcome that is related to the workplace safety issue. The same procedure, 54 hours tuition time. It's little bit less than the ID1 and ID2. Then 41 hours private study. Okay, assessment will be done in January and July of the year. So 4 week time for the submission of the paper and professional discussion that is mandatory, and 50% mark is very important. So once you complete all the 3 units, once you pass the complete 3 units, all the 3 units mark will be converted into 100. That means percentage will be taken and it will be added up. So if you score 226 for all the 3 or above, then you will be passing with distinction. 196 to 225, you will be awarded the certificate with the credit, and 150 to 195, that is pass. Anything below 150, that means you could not qualify. Now there is a lot of doubt regarding professional discussion. So it is actually, we will discuss a little bit about the professional discussion. What is a professional discussion? It's not actually an examination. So this professional discussion is being carried out between the learning partner representative and the learner. So this is to ensure or provide assurance that the diploma assessment submitted by the learner is their own work. And they did it, they have produced it without any improper assistance. That is the only purpose. So it do not have anything to deal with your pass or fail. So what the professional discussion is not, it is not an assessment. Professional discussion is not an assessment. It is only the assurance. It is giving only the assurance, and the outcome does not contribute to the learner's overall grade. It is not marked, and it is a process that can give assurance. That is the only thing. Who will be conducting this and how it will be done? So the professional discussion will be held between a learning partner representative and the learner. Okay, it can be done in person, maybe face to face. If you are able to come here, it is fine. Otherwise, it will be done online. Okay, using any virtual platform such as Zoom or WebEx, whatever may be, that is convenient to both the parties. Okay, when it will be done, the professional discussion will be held after you submit your paper. Maybe within a week or 10 days, within that 10 days, you will be getting a notification for the professional discussion. You need to be present in that one. It is mandatory. It is mandatory. Without your professional discussion, NEBOSH will not be able to release your result. And how long will it take? It will take 45 minutes. Maximum 45 minutes. Okay. Now, do you require to appear for all the units? For each unit, you need to appear for professional discussion. That means you have to appear for 3 professional discussion as a minimum. Suppose you could not pass one unit and you are reappearing that one, re-examine, you are appearing for the second time. Still, you will have to appear for professional discussion. Okay, so these are the major points related with the professional discussion. Now for IGC, now everybody may be aware about it. IGC, we have a closing interview. What is the difference between these two? So for IGC, the questions are set by NEBOSH and they are sending it to the learning partner. And it will be having only 15 minutes duration or 20 minutes duration. But the professional discussion, it is actually the topics are selected by the representative and it will be longer than the closing interview. So in closing interview, learners are not permitted to go through any of the materials. But here for the professional discussion, definitely they can go through their material, they can refer their material when they are doing the professional discussion. So what is our schedule now? DISS announced a schedule that will be commencing on 11th February. So 10 Fridays will be allocated for each unit. We are planning to start the ID1 first, and it is via virtual learning. That means via Zoom, we will be conducting the classes. Okay, for further information, you can always check our website, that is www.diss.com.qa. You can note down this mail address and the number, so you can always contact our team, so they will be able to help you, happy to assist you in your queries. So with that, my information or giving the information that is finished. So now, Ms. May, if you have any questions already parked, please, we can go for the question and answer session.
Yes, sure. We actually have one question from Mr. Jaisal. His
Yeah.
question is, if example, we pass level 6 IDIP, it will be automatic member of grad IOSH? So that's
No,
the first question.
actually, it is not automatic. Membership is not awarded by any of the organization. So once you have your qualification, you have to apply for the membership to the concerned organization. If it is IOSH, you have to apply to IOSH. If it is IARSM, you have to apply to IARSM. So they will be charging a fees for the membership, and based on your qualification and your experience, they will award you the membership. This is the process.
Great.
I believe I have answered it.
Thank you. Mr. Jaisal, do you have any additional questions about that? You may unmute yourself if you want, if you have additional question.
Please send it in chat box, your questions.
Okay. All right, I think we've answered that. Now, the second question is from Mr. Saif. Now, candidates who pass NEBOSH Diploma, are they eligible to carry out IGC course?
They have already NEBOSH Diploma. Yes, definitely they can do. If they require, they can do the IGC again. There's no problem at all.
So, Mr. Saif, we hope we were able to answer that question. Do you have any other questions? Any other questions? You may unmute yourself, or you can raise your hand so we can address that. Okay, another question is, what's the fee for all 3 papers?
Okay, the fees you may have to contact our sales team as an inaugural offer we have given. If you are registering for the complete course, it will be approximately 8,000. Okay, so that is what the information as of now. So for the latest information, it's always better to contact our sales team. You can send a mail to the info. They will be able to give you the latest information.
Any other questions?
Mr. Saif, you want to say something? You have raised your hand.
Now you can unmute yourself if you have other question. If not, just go ahead and post your question in the chat room.
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, I already asked the question, but I think it was misunderstood. My question is, if a candidate passed the NEBOSH Diploma, is he or she eligible to carry out the course to another participants, like a IGC course? Either they can conduct the course.
You want to, if you have qualified for NEBOSH Diploma and then you want to coach other people for the other courses. This is what?
Yes. This is my question.
Yes, you may be able to do that one, but you require an approval from NEBOSH.
Okay,
if you
right.
Get an approval from NEBOSH, of course you can do that one, but usually it will be you will get the approval through a learning partner.
Okay, right. Perfect.
Okay, fine.
Thank you.
So, Mr. GK, we have another question here. It's and the question is, in case an HSE professional would like to attain a Masterial for HSE, does level 6 NVQ can serve as Masterial?
It is not a master's degree. It is actually level 6 means it is below the master's degree qualification. So it may be the person who may be having level 6 qualification may be able to get admission to master's degree program. So it is depending on the university that provides it.
Yeah, another question is, for candidate that pass IGC and NEBOSH Diploma, is there any need to undertake NEBOSH Fire and Safety Course?
Say NEBOSH Fire and Safety Course, it is actually focusing on specialization. So it will be, the fire will be the focus. It's a special qualification or specialized qualification. So if anybody requires, yes, definitely it will be an additional qualification for you and an added advantage to you. Always you can go for that one if you wish and if you have the resources.
All right. Okay, one more question. I think we still have in a few minutes to entertain a couple of more questions. So another question is, is it possible not to attend the class and directly go to the exam registration?
It's a good question. Many people, they are having this question. Say, as of now, we have the classroom sessions or maybe the virtual sessions. We are permitted only for that one. So there may be a distant learning program that we will be starting in recent future. In that case, you will be provided with the materials and the certain exercises. So we have not launched it, but we will be launching very recently, maybe within 1 or 2 months, we may be able to launch that one. So in that case, you may be doing that one. So your self-study, yes, you can do it, but not on this batch.
Oh, okay, because I believe other providers also are providing this with materials and exam registration.
Yeah, if they are authorized for doing that one, that we can do. So we are actually authorized for distance mode, but we need to develop certain things and we will get the permission from NEBOSH and we will be launching it very soon.
All right, one more question. Do you offer distance learning or e-learning options?
So distance learning and e-learning, to my understanding, it is almost same. E-learning, many people, they will be logging into the learning management platform, then they will get the books or maybe the materials, they can download it, they will be doing that one. So that we are not doing as of now. We will be providing only the hard copy of the textbook, not the soft copy.
Okay.
Okay.
One more question. I think we still have time to actually answer a few more. Yeah, Mr. GK?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, one more question is, how many times a person can appear for exam if in case of failing?
You can appear as many as time that you wish, but your registration will be valid for 5 years period. So you have 5-year time to pass the examination. So if you can say that twice in a year you have examination, that means 5 years into 2 times, that means 10 times you can appear for one particular paper, but you have to complete it within 5 years of time.
Right. Okay. Another question is, what factors should be considered while selecting a contractor for a project?
So this is actually not related to the international diploma programs. It's actually another thing. So I'm sorry to answer this. We can discuss it later, but not at this forum. Okay.
Okay. Probably we can answer that later on. So guys, please note that we might not be able to answer all the questions, but we will be compiling it and we will forward it to Mr. GK so we can properly address it and we will share it with you. I think we still have a couple of minutes to answer 2 more questions. Okay. So another question is, if I have started my diploma course from a different learning provider, what is the condition for applying for receipt in your center?
Okay, it's another good question. Appreciate. So if you have joined another institution, but you have to think about which specification that you have joined. If you have joined 2015 specification, you have to complete the course in that particular specification itself. You will not be able to migrate to 2020 specification. If you want to change, you can change your registration to 2020 specification, agreed, but you have to study all the 3 units afresh and pass all the 3 units. That means whatever units that you have already passed in the previous specification, that cannot be counted here. So that is the main point.
All right. One more question. Okay, and I think that is a good one. CSP holder who no longer requires to study, can they take directly the exam? This is according to BCSP and NEBOSH memorandum.
Yeah, it's sure. So the memorandum of understanding, it says that, okay, certain qualifications that will be merging. So definitely the CSP holders will be able to do that one based on the memorandum. Of course, I will openly say that I have not gone to the memorandum. So if it is there, definitely you will be able to attend directly. No problem at all.
Great. So as I've mentioned, guys, we know that you have a lot of questions. You can still send them through. And for other questions that we weren't able to answer, you can send an email to info@diss.com.ph.
One more question is here. Can
Yeah,
we have
go ahead.
live classes in person at DASS? Yes, definitely we can plan the classes if you have adequate number of people. So please register your interest in appearing live classes. Please register your interest. So when we have adequate number of candidates, definitely we will contact you and we'll have the live session. Sorry, means face-to-face session in DASS. No problem at all.
Any more questions, guys? Okay. Yeah. So I think we're all good. As I mentioned, if we weren't able to address any of your questions, please do send them through info@diss.com.qa. We will forward it to Mr. GK and we will address it accordingly.
Okay. So thank you very much. So we'll wind up now. So all the other questions, we will be answering it in a separate manner. Maybe by mail we can answer it. No problem at all. Okay. Shall we wind up now?
Yes, please. Also, for last note, we will be actually sending you a recorded session or a recorded video for this session. I'll be sending it through your email. You'll be receiving it. So don't worry. You can always go back to this recorded session and watch it again.
Thank you.
So, thank you very much for joining us today. Have a great day.